Celebrations in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day on October 12th and throughout the week will happen on college campuses, large and small cities, across tribal nations. And due to COVID-19, many will take place online. Each celebration will be as diverse as the 574 tribes, nations, and villages in the United States. What started in 1989 in South Dakota to recognize their Indigenous peoples has grown into hundreds of celebrations. Indigenous peoples in this country have made and continue to have a great impact upon this country. I think of my grandfather, who was a code talker in World War I. He was one of 19 young Choctaw men who used their Choctaw language to confuse the Germans. And it worked. These young Choctaw men all served in the military long before they became U.S. citizens. It wasn't until 2008 that Congress officially recognized their heroic efforts. Officials from the country of France recognized their efforts in 1989 at the Oklahoma State Capitol. This has been a monumental year for Indigenous peoples. For the first time in history, we have two Native women serving in Congress, Deb Haaland of New Mexico and Sharice Davids of Kansas. That was a very good moment for Indigenous communities around this country. Native organizations and persons who worked for years to eliminate the name Redskins from the now Washington NFL team. It was the movement and attention of Black Lives Matter that brought more attention to the racist mascot, resulting in its removal earlier this year. There were many who worked on the issue for years, and we are so thankful for their longtime commitment. The Supreme Court made an historic decision in the McGirt versus State of Oklahoma case. This case goes back to the removal of the Muskogee Creek people and four other tribes that now call Oklahoma home. After removal, reservations in the eastern side of Oklahoma were abolished, and the land had a new distinction. However, the Supreme Court ruled that the Congress did not de-establish the Muskogee Creek Nation's reservation, set aside in the early 19th century. Therefore, the land remains Indian country for the purpose of criminal jurisdiction. The result means that nearly 19 million acres of land among these five tribes could be considered an Indian reservation. This case has huge implications for Indian country that continues to unfold. Indigenous communities celebrated the passage of two bills in Congress just last month, the Not Invisible Act and Savannahs Act. These two bills addressed the epidemic of violence against Native women, commonly referred to as missing and murdered Indigenous women. Statistics show that Native American women are particularly vulnerable to violence in their lifetimes. On some reservations, for instance, Native women are murdered at a rate more than 10 times the national average. I think of the words from my friend and colleague, Reverend Anita Phillips, Cherokee, former executive director of the Native American Comprehensive Plan. In the book, On the Spirit Walk, she writes, "As a Native American person, I am intimately aware that one of the greatest burdens borne by Native people in the Americas and by Indigenous peoples around the world is that we have become the invisible ones. We are thought of as relics or figures from the past who have no contribution to make towards the future." Those words are haunting because in some circles that is what people think of us. Even as organizations inside and outside of the United Methodist Church offer venues to talk about race in the church, we're often left out of those conversations. It happens over and over again. There are more wrongs to correct. There's more to be done for social justice and equality. There's much to do to develop intentional community among all peoples. And at least for one day, we will celebrate who we are as people of God around this country. We will dance, sing, shout, speak, and share about who we are as Indigenous peoples. And then our journeys will continue. Shining Arrows of the Crow Tribe once said, "If you have 100 people who live together, and if each one cares for the rest, there is one mind." As we recognize and celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day around this country, I invite you to join us on this journey.